Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I finally got my mount, but it is a bit shaky, so I'll probably have to get a stabilizer with it just to help keep the frame stable as I'm driving. But anyways, getting into today's video, I want to talk about getting what you give. So meaning you get what you give in this lifetime. It's just important to be mindful of what you're putting your mind to and what you're getting out of it. So if you are spending a lot of time consuming and not necessarily producing, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about or just touch base on, in being a producer instead of a consumer. Now, when you're a producer, you're in your state of flow, honing in on your craft, your passion, whatever it may be, your career, whatever it is that you want to do, and producing it. Focusing on that, focusing on the flow of things and getting your footing. And when you are a consumer, you're consuming so much. You're consuming a lot of unnecessary things that may not be the best for your mental. So that could be social media, that could be spending time in the wrong social groups, just people who aren't really elevating your life, or environments that aren't really serving a purpose in your growth. And just consuming all of these things can essentially weigh you down and make you feel like you have weight attached to you. You might feel like you're drowning and you're just lost. You're trying to hold on and you're trying to stay above the water. But it's really important to kind of figure out where you stand between the two, whether you're a producer or a consumer. And I want to let you know that obviously most people at the top are producers. They're focusing on their craft, they're focusing on their lifestyle, they're focusing on their health, they're focusing on themselves, and simply producing what they love, spending time in what they love. And when you're a consumer, you're more so just absorbing, and it's really important to be mindful of what you're absorbing and what you're feeding your brain, because your brain is very sensitive. It's sensitive, and especially when you don't feel like you have much control over it and you kind of feel like your brain is controlling you. Know that you have full control of your thoughts and what comes into your mind, but it takes a lot of practice. So if you feel like you're very scattered in the mind and you just want more focus, you want more structure, be mindful of what you're feeding your brain, what you're putting into your mind, the habits that you're implementing in your everyday routine, good or bad. And you mostly want to siphon out the bad habits, like being aware of your very own bad habits and having that awareness to change them when you notice that you're doing them. Because that's really where the change is going to come into play, is if you have the awareness that you need to change. If you don't have that awareness, it's hard, you feel stuck, and you just kind of keep living life as is without any type of personal assessment on yourself to get yourself in a better position to create a better life for yourself. And it takes time. It's a journey, and I'm always going to repeat that and just try to remind you all that it's going to take time. It's throughout your whole life. It's a long journey. But again, if you have the self-awareness, you're halfway there. And it's just being very mindful and forgiving towards yourself when you are trying to change for the better, because habits are habits. So we do it without really being aware that we're doing it. It's a pattern in our brain, and we simply do it, whether it's good or bad. So notice your bad habits and be aware of them and change them in the moment that you are doing it. Because that's the best way to practice that change, is to choose to do differently when you're presented a certain situation, a certain obstacle where you may normally go about it. Being aware, changing it, and you will notice a better outcome possibly next time. and just getting what you give. So when you are actively trying to change your life, you're going to get so much out of it. But if you're kind of aloof and you don't really have any structure, any discipline, because I will say discipline is the number one skill that you need to learn if you do not have it. Because the difference between discipline is that you are going to do it no matter what you're feeling. Motivation is a feeling. They're little spurts of energy when you might be inspired by something or whatever. It's not an everlasting feeling, motivation. So I struggle with that. When I'm feeling motivated, I get really big bursts of energy and I just want to produce, change my life right then and there, and so many other things. But when you're disciplined, no matter if that feeling is there to support it, you're gonna do it anyway. And that's the most important thing, is that you are able to follow through when you aren't feeling like it. Because we tend to run a lot off of emotions. If we don't feel something, we won't do it, even though it could serve us a good purpose. Perfect example is the gym. I think this is the best way to learn discipline if you do not already have it. So I'm currently looking for a gym and just working on staying consistent and disciplined with it. Because one, the gym, staying consistent, it's going to give you a dream body. It's going to make you feel so good. You're going to eat actually things that you're supposed to be eating. That's going to give you the energy to carry you throughout the day, throughout the week, whatever. But not only that, it really strengthens your mind. It strengthens your focus. Because one thing, I'm going to share this. One thing, when I go to the gym and I have to count reps, my mind is so unfocused and scattered that I can't even count to like 8 or 10, whatever the reps are. And that's just pure honesty on my part. Like, that's how unfocused that my brain can be, and it's just not good. So when you're in a state of mind of counting your reps and you truly focus on doing these reps to your full potential, it creates that unity and that alignment in your mind to really focus, to really make sure you're excelling and you're doing your absolute best in that very moment. And then at the end of the day, you get a wonderful, wonderful body out of it. You probably never even knew your body could look like such. And I always say this, when you look good, you feel good, you do good, it boosts your confidence. It ties everything together. Exercising, it's so good for you. You want to keep up your mobility throughout your lifetime, so you're not 40 and just feel like you're already rotting away, when you can be very active in your later years. You want to keep the mobility, you want to stay active. It's so good for your mental health, it's so good for your body, and it's a plus. Exercise is something that you need and should implement into your life. And it creates that discipline for you to follow through with other things in your life and staying consistent. It's a practice that's going to help you practice these things for a greater future. And when you get what you give, if you're not giving these things to yourself, you're not going to get what you want. That's just the simple math. If you're not doing anything to change your situation, if you're not exceeding or trying to excel to do better and to better your life, better your position for a greater cause, if you can't give yourself that, then you're going to live a life where you feel like you have no control, you're lost, you're feeling helpless, and you're overall not going to feel good. It's not going to be good for your mental health. We all want to feel good, yes? It's very important. It's so important. So be mindful of what you're putting out here, of what you're consuming, what you're doing, what your daily habits are. And if they're good, keep them. If they're not good, you need to change them, get rid of them. And again, be a producer. Take control of your life. Take it back. This is your life. You can do what you want with it. These things are not done to you for a specific reason. It's just because you're not really doing anything about your current situation. And that's a hard reality that I had to face for myself. I'm not where I want to be in life is because I'm not being serious about where I want to be in life. I'm just constantly in my head of dreaming of where I want to be, but not doing anything about it to get me there. And I had to sit with that. And it's now me at 26 trying to get all of this stuff together, when in reality I could have probably been a lot further. But at the same time, you don't want to think like that, because it's not going to help you. But it's just, now that you know what you know, try your very best to implement it and take action and change it, because all you're going to want to do is, when you finally get to that moment, is just wish you started sooner, wish you started when you knew what you knew, and just be okay. There's no instant gratification, none. I don't care how social media likes to portray things. We can't fully believe in that. There are some very successful people on social media, yes, but if you listen to those people, it took them a while. It took them time, and everybody's journey is different. Everybody's timeline is different, so it could not take you as long as it may have taken for some other people. But at the end of the day, everybody's success story is the same. It's a journey. It's a process. You have to fall in love with it. It's hard. There's days where you don't want to. You have to have that discipline to keep going, to see a better light, to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and so on. Everybody's success story is genuinely the same. And it's you just having to accept that there's a path in front of you. There's a journey, it's unknown, and having the courage to walk down that path and believe in what it is that you want to do, believe in yourself, and stay consistent on the days where it may feel foggy on that path. You're unsure, you're just unsure, but you keep going, because there's weather down this path. There's days where it's going to be a torrential downpour. There's days where it's going to be sunny, where there's rainbows, there's butterflies flying around. There's going to be days where there's snow and it's cold and it's miserable. It's just, this is all hypothetical, but just so you can get an idea that life has a lot of ups and downs. But it always turns around, If you can weather through the bad days, just imagine the good days. And when those bad days come back around, the good days are right around the corner also. It fluctuates, it's life. But you have to be willing to adapt at any condition and still persevere and follow through with what it is that you want to do and what you want to create out of this life. And everybody goes through it. And some sooner than others. It is what it is. That's life. But I just want to share this to help, obviously, as I'm on my own journey sorting this stuff out. And you can kind of see that all of my videos I share with you what I'm struggling with, and I share with you what I'm striving and thriving with. But that's anybody. It's anybody. So remember, you get what you give. Try to make the wisest choices to the best of your ability with all the knowledge that you know. Focus on being aware of the habits that you need to change and implementing discipline into your daily routine so that you can build that skill, and just go see what you can create out of this life. That is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe for more. Bye, guys. Mwah.